Hi, I'm Patrick Byrne. I'm one of the co-inventors of the Hale Nasal Breathing Aid, and I thought I'd tell you our story. I'm a surgeon, and I've been in academic medicine at Johns Hopkins and more recently Cleveland Clinic for almost 2 decades. My specialty is facial plastic surgery. So what that means is I'm double board certified in facial plastic surgery, but also in ENT surgery. So because of this, I meet a lot of patients for many, many years who have trouble breathing. People come in because they have trouble breathing when they're sleeping or throughout the day or when they work out. And as surgeons and physicians in this field, we generally offer either, inflammatory treatments like, nasal steroid sprays and things like that, if that's the cause. But when it's a mechanical nasal obstruction, a physical obstruction, we offer surgery. And surgery involves straightening the septum of the nose, that's the midline partition that separates your nose into right and left sides. And very importantly, very often, we also address something called the nasal valve. It turns out that for most of us who have trouble breathing through the nose, the site of the obstruction, the location, is an area called the nasal valve. It sits right inside the nose here. And it's either too pinched, or when you breathe in, the sidewall of the nose collapses and you can't breathe. And I just got to tell you, for years, I can't even count the number of patients I've met who don't want surgery, or they try and it didn't work out as well as they'd like. And so, there's this great need for a non-surgical solution that works great. So what was out there? Well, for years, I would try with my patients nasal strips. These are strips that go on the outside of the nose, and they stick to the skin, and through a spring effect, they try to open the nose. It does work for some patients, actually, but in my experience, at least, most of the patients who tried it would tell me, well, the adhesive doesn't stick and it falls off. It doesn't really work that well. And in the patients in whom it did work, they never wear it during the day because nobody wants to walk around with something that looks like a big Band-Aid on the outside of their nose. So then we would try dilators, and there are some on the market that would go on the inside of the nose. And they would prop open the nose for sure, but the challenges there were multiple. First, they are a blunt tool. It's really just a tube that kind of props it open. It doesn't conform to natural nasal anatomy, so comfort and efficacy were both limited. It doesn't really apply the principles of nasal physiology. It turns out there's a pretty specific way that we sense airflow. And the whole point of trying to help anyone with nasal obstruction is the experience of breathing well, which is so important to a healthy, comfortable life. And so a few years ago, I partnered with some engineers at the Whiting School of Engineering at Johns Hopkins, and we set out to solve this problem. We took CAT scan data, CT scan data of patients, and we modeled the inside anatomy of the nose. We applied the principles of surgical reconstruction for both the internal and external nasal valve. We really tried to intelligently design to take advantage of the physiology of how we breathe, where we sense airflow within the nose and how that occurs. And it turns out this was a really difficult problem to solve, more difficult than I ever would have thought. So it took several years, multiple iterations, lots of smart people involved. And finally, we started to make some breakthroughs. We ultimately created a device that is discreet. You can't see it. You can wear it all day long, and effective. It's been proven through our clinical trial at Johns Hopkins to work better than any of the other existing devices we've tested it against. And it really works. And so we're really excited to introduce the Hale Nasal Breathing Aid. I've had countless patients already who've expressed such gratitude that they have something that actually works. And I'm really hopeful that it'll help a lot of people. That in the end, that really is why I invested all this time. What drives me in my career is a desire to make a difference. And, this sticky issue of patients who have trouble breathing and there's not a great solution, for many years has been a source of frustration. And I'm hoping that our efforts on this device will pay off and in terms of helping as many people as we can. And if you're one of them, I encourage you to try it, and hopefully it'll help you. Thanks.